Welcome to the Gate 7 International Podcast, your official English source for all things Olympiacos FC and Greek football.
The first day of training is when I realized, this is why they win the league every year.
When I spoke with Kevin, if I'm going to sign or no for Olympiacos, he said, you are crazy, go direct, my friend.
Να πετύχω ήθελα να μείνω στην ιστορία του Ολυμπιακού.
I can't speak, sure.
Yeah. Έλα μαλάκα!
Σ' αγαπώ πάρα πολύ, Πειραιάς. Είμαι Γαύρος πάντα, όλοι μαζί.
What's happening, everybody? We're back. Gate 7 International, by the fans, for the fans. It's 1 o'clock Greek time. Doesn't matter what time it is. It's a Sunday. We just had the first game of the season. It's a victory for Olympiakos. 2-0. Mathieu Valbuena leading the way. Costa is joining me tonight. Costa Llanos, how are you doing, my friend?
I'm great, man. Always a great time to be at Gate 7 International. Always a great time to share the spotlight with you. And of course, it's always good to have Haris and Labros as well.
Always a pleasure, my friend. Thanks for joining me so late. Couple of housekeeping things as always, guys. Thank you to our sponsors, BetUS. If you're a betting guy, use the code GATE7INTL at betus.com.pa. If you use the code, you get 125% boost on your first deposit. So go to betus.com.pa, drop $100. I don't know, that'll make it 225 with 125 boost. Some interesting odds today for the game. Go and check that out. Thank you again to our sponsor, BetUS. And as always, guys, if you haven't done so already, don't forget, like and subscribe. We're on the way to 2,000 subs on YouTube. When we do hit 2,000 subs, there's going to be a special giveaway. So spread the word. There's something good coming from this. And again, thank you to all you guys for your support. It's been an amazing journey. Actually, today's a special day as well because co-host Ari Bouloubasis went to the Karaiskaki for the first time in his life.
With Labros.
With Labros.
And Martial.
And Martial, Olympiacos, France. Met a lot of you guys outside the stadium. I don't know if there's anyone that was at the stadium that met with Ari and the guys. But yeah, great day for Ari. Don't forget the guy lives in America, so it's not like he can get out of his apartment at Thrylos and get on the tram and go to Karaiskaki whenever he wants. So big up to Ari.
He's a 1-year-old kid as well.
Exactly.
Hero, absolute hero.
Big ups. I do have some FOMO, but I have my own situation, as some of you guys and girls know. Third baby coming soon, so I could even be called to jump out and leave Costa to take the live show on his own if something happens tonight. Literally,
well, I'll take over. That's fine, man.
I won't hesitate. I won't hesitate. But I do want to say three things before we get started, and there are three reasons why this match was so important. Number one, we've played, I think, 5 games, official games before this game tonight, and we haven't won any.
6. Oh no, you're talking about the ones you can win. Yeah,
this is the 6th. Okay, so it took us 6 games to get our first win. We needed that badly for confidence for the team, particularly ahead of Thursday's big game, which I'm going to come back to. Number 2. I get the sentiment from a lot of things that I'm hearing and a lot of things that I'm seeing that our opponents smell blood. And today was really important to send a message. And I thought we sent a message in a sense that Olympiacos controlled the game. We had something like 80% possession in the first 20-25 minutes before the cooling break.
Yeah, very strong start.
They had one shot on target today. It came in the 92nd minute. And generally it was a dominant performance, I would say.
Yeah.
Of course, this is relative to what we've been seeing until now and for the last year. The third reason why this game was so important is because the fans finally needed something to cheer about, something to be happy about. This win. It's not just important for the confidence and the psychology of the players, it's important for the psychology of the fans as well. And the next thing I'm going to say is really important, guys. There's a massive game coming on Thursday, and we have to fill the stadium out on Thursday.
It needs to be full, guys. It needs to be full.
We have to fill out the stadium on Thursday. The team needs us. Yes, it's not the perfect team that we want to see. Yes, it's not the Olympiacos that we're dreaming about. But the board and the staff at the club, they have their job to do. We have ours. We support the team no matter what. No matter who the players are right now, we have to go to this game on Thursday and get behind the team and push and give that extra push. This is a game that we can win. Today, we've gained the confidence from taking the win, and the players will take that with them on Thursday, and we have to go and support them as well. And then things will happen after that night. I do believe we have everything that we need, the tools, the capability to go out there on Thursday and get the victory and achieve the objective of getting through to the Europa League group stages. So I'll just end with that important message to fill out the stadium on Thursday.
I mean, if anything, Olympiacos proved they got depth. I mean, they started with Androutsos at right back. They had Koutris at left back. Mathieu Valbuena, the 37-year-old, started as well. Hassan ahead of Velarabi. If anything, Olympiacos showed they had a lot of depth. Yes, that was past Giannina, who lost a lot of key players in the summer. Many key players. But still, Olympiacos were playing with a very different side. A lot of backup solutions starting. And it was a very strong game from Olympiacos. Very strong start. Agibu Kamara missed a couple of good chances. Ahmed Hassan hit the woodwork as well. It was a very positive performance from Olympiacos after a very rough start to the season. An embarrassing elimination to Maccabi Haifa. A very difficult qualification against Slovan Bratislava. There's Apollonas as well. And I think I want to add to your points. It's very important that Carlos Corberan broke his duck so early with Olympiacos before Apollonas, because it's very important for psychological reasons to get that out of the way. Like, it'd be a lot worse if he was stressing out about finally getting his big win against Apollo. Now he's got it, so he knows he can win with his team. He knows the winning formulas. I feel like him and the players are finally understanding each other. They're getting each other. So yeah, guys, go to Karaiskaki on Thursday.
And there's a message from Grigoris Kotsias. It was great to meet both tonight. I assume he met Labros and Ari, and they got the win as well. And Marshall, fantastic, Grigori. I'm glad that you got to meet the guys. Just as you made that point on Corberan, honestly, I think it's so early on, but what the guy has been asked to do has been a almost an impossible task. Like,
yeah.
I don't know. Impossible is maybe too strong, but really, it's like one of the jobs in European football that I don't think many managers would have wanted.
Especially like him. Someone like Bielsa or Benitez, or Bilic would feel more comfortable because they've already made a name for themselves. So they will get that trust in time, whereas Corberan doesn't belong in that caliber.
That's a very good point. And what I want to say is that, I mean, like you said, you look at the starting 11 today, and we didn't have a blueprint or any kind of idea of what the guy would do in terms of, is he going to rotate the team? Like, what did he do at Huddersfield? You can't even compare. It's like the first time that we're going into a situation where we're going to be playing, we played Thursday, now we're playing Sunday again. And by the way, that's going to be the situation the entire year, which is contrary to all the other Greek teams in the league. We're the only team that's going to be playing Sundays and Thursdays consecutively all the way through to November. And you need the depth and you need the quality to be able to do that. And I'll tell you what, there was one thing that I was 99% certain of going into this game, and that was that Oleg Ryabchuk would not play, because I thought he'd need to have him fresh on Thursday. I was not expecting Androutsos for the life of me.
Me
So
too.
that was interesting that he threw him in. But like, I mean, he made 8 changes, huh?
He's
Bukhalakis,
saving for Apollonas. He is.
yeah,
He was willing to. He was willing to make sacrifices today, even if that meant not a victory today. He was willing to make that sacrifice because Europa League is so important for Olympiacos right now.
absolutely. But I think honestly, again, judging on the performance in the first half, I mean, we could have been 2 or 3 up in the first 7 minutes. There
Yep.
was one opportunity with the high press from Agibu where he stole the ball from the defender inside the box, and he had a shot with his left that just went creeping past the
Yeah.
post. And then there was the Valbuena cross into Hassan, which rocked the bar. Corner from Valbuena afterwards, a header from Cisse, and that was all in the first 7 minutes. So Olympiacos went into the game really strong, and Agibu was playing in his position in this 4-4-1, or rather, sorry, 4-1-4-1 formation, where he was playing flat across the midfield as a 8, if you will.
It was like it did switch to a 4-3-3 sometimes, though, didn't it?
Yeah, I saw a couple of tactical analysis already, and you could see that Bukhalakis was kind of sitting behind the midfield in front of the defense, and you had a line of 4, and then Hassan was in front.
Yeah.
And Agibu was kind of playing alongside Valbuena, and Valbuena was everywhere today. Really, I mean,
says a lot about the Greek league. It says so much about the Greek league.
But it was really an unbelievable performance from Valbuena today.
And he's an incredible player. He is one of the most underrated players playing right now in Europe, my opinion. But still, I mean, the fact that he was everywhere and he was running the show, it does say still a lot about the Greek league. That a 37-year-old guy does it.
No, it was an immense performance for me. And maybe that's because you just don't expect it from him anymore. You expect him to be a guy, even in the Greek league, that comes on and plays 30, 45 minutes. But you can say that, like, for at least the large majority of the game today, he had strength. He was beating men, like, with pace, even like people that are 10 years younger than him. And you're just like, my God, this guy. So absolutely amazing performance from him. He's credited, of course, with the goal. And he said after, in his post-match interview, that's not the first header he scored in his career, because I was immediately trying to find out, is that the first goal he's ever scored with his head? And I think Pape Cisse was taking the piss out of him right after the goal, that you saw them kind of laughing at each other. So that isn't the first header he scored. I think that's the second. And then, of course, he's crucial, like pivotal in the second goal. He plays a dink, like a first touch dink over the top into El Arabi, and then Arabi lays it off to Radjelovic, and Radjelovic gets on the score sheet as well. And you're just like, something good is happening. If Lazar Radjelovic has finally broken his duck. I can't remember when the last time Radjelovic scored for Olympiacos was it against AEK in the cup final 2-3 years ago?
Could be.
So yeah, absolutely fantastic.
It was a positive performance ahead this crucial match against Apollonas. Corberan is going to get some more players for Apollon. Obviously, Hwang Bom, whom he was saving really after picking up that knock against Apollon in Cyprus. This week we're going to see Gary Rodriguez and Abubakar Kamara getting back with the team in training. Masouras as well is making a lot of improvement, and Socrates Papastathopoulos as well as Sime Vresaliko are expected to be fit again in a week. I don't know if that means that if they have any hope for Apollonas, but they are making. Corberan is getting a lot more solutions. A lot of people are asking about transfers. Do we touch on that now, or should we wait?
We can. I mean, there's not, besides what we've said about the game today, I think there's not much more to say there, so we can go and have a look at the comments already. So Nolan is asking, did Kane get shipped off to Paphos? It's not a done deal yet, mate, but by all looks of things, he's going to Paphos.
Yeah,
probably
he's not staying at Olympiacos, it looks like, basically, yeah.
Probably a loan deal.
Yeah, I'm not too sure how much Corberan rates him yet. Obviously, it's not as much as Pedro Martins did, but yeah, he's definitely not going to be staying for this season.
I mean, this is a guy that he put on in the first half of extra time in Slovakia and then took him off 20 minutes later.
Yeah.
So Yasumano. It says Costa,
That's right, Mano.
the team needs us, but we haven't seen any move. It's late August. Mano, I've come to terms with the fact that we're not going to sign anybody until it's clear where we're going to be playing.
I was about to say the same thing. You took the words out of my mouth.
I've come to terms with that. I expected more moves, but the reality is that the Greek league is probably the last option on the menu of high quality players that we want to bring in. I'd rather, and again, to be honest with you, I think we have enough and we have what it takes in the squad today to be able to play on Thursday and beat Apollon at home and qualify for the group stage. And then the next day, if not the same night, I expect things to happen. And I expect us to bring quality players in, not because I expect it, but I think this manager deserves it. What he's shown he can do with this current situation, with this bloated squad, with this group of players that's been run into the ground the last year and a half, that are dropping left, right, and center with muscle injuries, not even a month into the official season. He's got a hell of a job on his hands and he needs to get the support that he needs. We need to support this manager. I said
Absolutely.
it on the last show. Sorry, Costa. I said it on the last show. The only thing that we can realistically expect and ask from this manager is that we see improvement game to game. And for me, I'm happy I've seen that. Every single game, I see a step or a level of improvement from the last one. And things on the pitch, I don't know the word in English, automatismos, like movement, one touch. There's, of course, there's still some things that we see from the Martins era. I called it post-Martin stress disorder earlier. But like after the first goal, we sat back for a bit, and I thought, no, go and get the second, and thank God we did. But you saw that tendency a little bit after the first goal. The team kind of sat back a little bit, and you're like, you saw them trying to fight it a little bit, and then of course, like they got forward and they got the second goal. So Mano, I agree with you. Like, we're all frustrated that we haven't seen signings, but again, Thursday. Get your ass.
It's going to depend. Yeah, it will depend. If Olympiacos make it to the Europa League, I reckon they're going to go for a center forward. They're going to look to sign a center forward, a center back, another winger, perhaps. I think unless Koutris is going to get a fair chance this season, they're going to need a left back. Definitely going to need a left back. Center back and center. He was good. Yeah, I'm so glad to see Koutris and Vrusai making the team with Corberan. That was music to my ears when I heard that Vrusai, when I saw Vrusai coming on against Apollonas, even for a few minutes. The fact that he's back in the team, it seems like Corberan also trusts Greek players, gave opportunities to various of them today, even some that didn't totally deserve it. It's very interesting, and you said it yourself. I wonder if this guy has brought his stuff over to Greece. If he had enough time to bring his stuff, and he's still managing to show some change. He's still managing to show a new identity. It's going to take a while. Like, there's going to be some ups and there's going to be various ups and downs, I reckon, this season. I think Olympiacos, though, have proven that they can still be they are still the favorites for the league this season. It's very early days, but they've shown that why they should be considered the favorites to win the league again this season. And I feel like Olympiacos fans do have reasons to hope this season, see some good performances in Greece and maybe in Europe. But of course, Thursday is going to be very crucial. There's depth, though. There's depth. What Olympiacos proved today is that they have depth
for the Greek league.
Certainly, but still, even that, I mean, that is very crucial, because if you're playing on Thursday, right? You can play some seconds in the league against several minnows, and
like today.
Yeah, and rest your players for the big game on Thursday.
Yeah, and Giannina, guys, has been a bogey team for us the last couple of years. They've really made it difficult for us, and I know they've had some important players leave the team.
Many.
This season, but in any case, very important that we got the win today. You'll remember last year, the first game of the season, we drew 0-0 with Atromitos. the performance tonight was much better than that game last year. I remember, I mean, it was a perfect cure for insomnia last year watching Olympiacos, that game and other games. I'm sad to say. Ottavio is asking my thoughts or our thoughts on De La Fuente's performance.
Do we call him Conrad or De La Fuente, first of all?
That's what Conrad, you can call
I call him Conrad. I'm going to call him Conrad with the American accent.
I thought De La Fuente was pretty good, all things considered. He's had about 3 or 4 training sessions with the team. He's getting to know everybody. I mean, the first thing that you just really see is his ability to beat a man. He did that on numerous occasions today. Just got the ball down the left-hand side and knocked the ball past the defender and just left them flat. And he did that a couple of times today where he took on like 2 or 3 players that were around him. He just pinged the ball forward and he's off. So I think his performance was quite encouraging. He got into a couple of good situations as well. He had a shot that was blocked and went out for a corner. He got into the box and tried to make things happen, crossed a few balls in. Early days, but I think, again, this is a nice plug for Ari's deep dive scout report on Conrad de la Fuente. The main conclusion there was that this is a low-risk signing with a very high ceiling, and it's a loan deal, and the option is only 4 million. That's, I think, within budget, I would say. So if this guy turns out to be good, then we sign him at the end of the season, but it's still very, very early. And Olympiacos needs, for me, a quality winger, like not a 20, 21-year-old winger like Conrad, who I think will play his role this season, but a guy like Hwang, a guy with quality that you
a Hwang like winger,
yeah, like a difference maker, somebody that will come in and immediately show you something and say, this guy is different. This guy gives you an edge, something extra. It's like Hwang came on the other day with minimal training sessions, hadn't played for a month. I think his last official game was a month ago. And he was the best player on the pitch by a country mile.
By far.
So you need, like, for me, we need a winger like that. And I would like to see a striker as well. I am not going to lie. I'm expecting Hwang too. Weizhou Hwang.
Weizhou, there you go. Yeah, Weizhou is his name. Yeah.
We talked about previously, and I said, I think on the last pod or the one before that, we know that a deal had been reached between Nottingham Forest and his club Bordeaux. The player had some
Doubts.
insecurities or like doubts.
Doubts.
Apparently, Inbom Hwang talked to his countrymate after the game against Apollon. His name is back in the Greek press again, so don't be surprised if that happens after Thursday. If hopefully, touch wood, if you guys have got wood anywhere near you, touch wood, everything goes according to plan on Thursday, and we're in the Europa League group stages. I think that happens.
Yeah, qualification to the Europa League is going to be very crucial. But in terms of Conrad, the guy has been thrown into the deep end just a couple of days after he actually joined Olympiacos on loan. We saw that against Apollonas, but he was very positive today, and it showed that there's a lot of trust in him, that he is very much in Corberan's plans, because most of Olympiacos' game today was based on the left side. Olympiacos mostly played down the left wing today. He had a lot of important support from Valbuena, who also helped Radzelovic a lot in his sort of number 10 position he played today, Matteo Valbuena. So yeah, very positive performance, considering that this guy has barely been spent enough time in Greece to have a coffee. But it's still a very long season. At Marseille, he also had a very good start, and then he just kind of he couldn't build up on it. So, but still, I mean, it is very early days. Like we said, a positive couple of games for Conrad. Surely something to look out for. I'm not too sure if Olympiacos are going to go for another winger, no matter what happens on Thursday. I think a center forward and a center back are going to be their priorities. As for Hwang Weizhou, I heard that his attitude towards joining Olympiacos has changed a bit, but if Olympiacos will have to make the Europa League first if they're to attract players like Juan Guijo. But yeah, like a positive performance today. Obviously Thursday's the big one.
Yeah. And there's some other comments in here I want to touch on. A lot of people saying that this is the first time in a long time that they've been entertained.
That's good.
The comment that I had here from Yorgos Moudjouris, the first half was the most entertained I've been in a year from watching us. I felt the same way the first 25 minutes of the game. I think I tweeted out, I said, I think this is the best football I've seen Olympiacos play in over a year. You know, that's why I talked about post-Martin stress disorder as well, because this is always relative. This is always relative to what we've seen, and it can only get better. It can only get better is what the good news is. Aguilos Guts, our good friend, says Corberán knows what he's doing. Let's go.
Very good manager. Very good manager.
Danis TSN, I hope this game won't make Radjelovic any starter points. I don't think he deserves to be in the team.
What if he improves, Danny? What if he actually does improve?
The thing is, Costa, like there's no way like he's a starter. There's no way for me that this player is a starter on the team as a player that can give some depth in the squad. Yeah. Maybe he gets into decent positions forward. Like, I mean, against Apollon, he didn't have a great game, but I mean, he got into good positions and laid a couple of chances off to El Arabi that El Arabi didn't bag. And out of nothing, Radjelovic could have had 1 or 2 assists against Apollon. And today, with that goal, you don't know, like with these kinds of players, like he hasn't scored a goal for Olympiacos for so long. Maybe that's what he needed today, because we all remember the player that kind of burst onto the scene when, you know, that first season he scored the goals against Krasnodar, but also, I think, was it Basaksehir here as well? I think he scored a goal after a Valbuena pass. Oh, he won a penalty. Sorry, he won a penalty that Valbuena then took. So, yeah, I don't know. The question here is it giving him points for the game against Apollon? But we'll get to that. Actually, that will be an interesting thing to tackle with Costa towards the end, like what we think our lineup might be for Apollon on Thursday. But we'll save that to later. Hussein Gizeli says it was very nice to meet with Labros and Ari before the match. Oh, there you go. There's another one that met with the guys. Fantastic. I'm really happy that you guys got the opportunity to do that. And actually saying that, Ari has sent us a little video, and I'm going to put that on to play right now.
What's up, guys? This is Ari. Just got back from the game. Mikali still hasn't adjusted. He has the worst jet lag ever. But man, it was something special for me. Met a bunch of you guys outside of the stadium. Olympiacos got the win. Great start. Got a little jumbly in the middle, but we ended up coming out to nothing. Huge goals from Valbuena and Lazar Radejevic, and I'm so glad I was able to make it. We kind of say, Olympiacos. Tough customer. See you guys next time.
Not quite enough.
Was it Alfred Hitchcock who said never work with kids and animals? I think that was Alfred Hitchcock. Now you see why. You see why.
He's too young. My kids are on it. My kids are on it, but my kids are a little bit older. They're 2 and 4. But anyway, guys, some amazing content coming through. As I said earlier, Ari and Labros are in Greece. Labros is going to be at the game on Thursday as well for the Apollon game. He will be there with Marshall as well. I don't think Ari's going to be able to, because Ari's going on holiday with his family. He's going on holiday with his family. Good for him. So guys, there are vlogs coming. So there'll be a vlog coming out on our channel from today's game. Fan cam, talking with the fans outside the stadium, footage from inside, all the works. Like and subscribe, hit the bell so that you're notified when that vlog comes online. Go and check that out. I've got my work cut out for me tomorrow. I'll be working on that at some point. So yeah, watch this.
There may or may not be a Labros rant.
Oh, God.
May or may not. I don't know. There may be a rant. There may not be a rant from Labros.
Labros means ratings, as you like to say.
Labros equals ratings. I'm getting a shirt. I'm getting a T-shirt. You guys are laughing, but I'm gonna get that T-shirt. That's gonna be my show shirt. My G7I shirt.
Manos again. We actually scored 2 beautiful goals, combinations that we haven't seen for a long time. I agree. Nice. It was Rajelovic involved in the first goal again, by the way, who played the ball into Avila, who then played a lovely cross into Valbuena. Fantastic. Who would believe it? So, and then of course Rajelovic gets the second goal after what really was a rather mesmerizing play. Mvila into Valbuena, dink over the top to El Arabi, French connection, and then the Serb kind of smashes it in with his left foot through the legs of the defender. So yeah, that was very pleasing on the eye. I agree. Legend 7. Ένα λεπτό, Κώστα. Με 4-5 προσθήκες ακόμα σε θέσεις κλειδί, σε θέσεις κλειδιά, η ομάδα θα πάει πολύ καλύτερα. Πες το, Κώστα.
I just wanted to ask you about the wingers, because you mentioned how Radzelovic is going to be a backup. If Olympiacos don't sign another winger, I mean, who do they go with this season? There's Masouras, there's Conrad, there's Gary Rodriguez, who gets injured, who has a bit of the Jack Wilshere syndrome going on. Zinkernagel plays as a winger sometimes, but he's not a winger. There's Vrusai, but is he going to become a starter? What are your solutions, really?
You don't have an X factor winger, Costa. Any way you look at it, like Masouras and Zinkernagel for me are system players. Like if you have a team that functions really well, where everyone knows their roles and responsibilities, then I think players like Masouras and Zinkernagel can do a really good job, like fitting into that system. Vrusai, for me, I think he has to move on. I think right now he's there to make up numbers because he is also an academy product. So he's been put into the list and he's using him while he has him. But I think that for me, I haven't seen Vrusai play at a level since before he got that knee injury, which was like a year and a half, 2 years ago, I want to say. So you can't rely on him. And bottom line, you just do not have an X factor winger. You need that. You absolutely need that. Every single Olympiacos team that's been successful, that's been playing attractive football, that's gone deep or into European competitions, we had strong wingers who scored goals and assists. I'm talking a player. Now, let me put you the question, Costa. Do we have a player on this team that can score 10 goals and serve 10 assists? Do we have a winger that can do that?
A winger, definitely not. But unless El Arabi changes, dramatically and improves dramatically, then yes, El Arabi is always your best opportunity. But when it comes to wingers, not a chance, not a single chance right now.
That's it. That's what I expect. Like in terms of a winger, I think De La Fuente, Conrad, however you want to call him, I think he will offer something this season with his pace, in particular. I'm very curious to see how he develops. I think he'll get ample game time. Masouras will also flip a switch at some point as well. I think it's good that he didn't start today, that he tried to manage his time as well, because we know the previous manager just, if Martins was there today, that he would have basically taken the same team he played on Thursday, more or less, and played against Giannina. He would not have rotated the team with 8 players. I wouldn't expect that from him. So Koutris, he didn't want him. Rajelovic, he sent him out on loan. Kunde, like there's so many players there that are really kind of getting their opportunity now. And I said this before the game, that the ahirisi, like management,
managing the roster, the squad.
Yes. This is what managing the roster is about. He's resting players on the one hand, like key players that he needs on Thursday, like El Arabi, like Mvila, Reabchuk,
Juan.
Juan Reabchuk, whether we like it or not, Reabchuk is a key player in this team.
Right now he is, yeah.
Yep.
And it looks like he will be. Leitner is someone for the future, it seems.
Let's see. So it's not just about resting when it comes to managing a squad. It's about giving opportunity to other players to show you what they have so that they can feel important and they get encouragement by being given the opportunity to show something. And it's up to them, but they get the opportunity today. And that's what management is. He showed that today. So that's another thing that we have to credit the manager for.
I mean, that would be my dream, really. I mean, I've spoken this show a lot about how Olympiacos need to push themselves into that Bayern Munich model of, you become a league of your own within this league. Just like Bayern Munich are a league of their own in the Bundesliga, Olympiacos need to cement themselves as that in Greece. And my dream would be to have Olympiacos playing the seconds in the Greece and play their firsts in Europe, kind of thing. I mean, Olympiacos have a B team, and you said it so eloquently the other day. There should always be a vision every season to bring at least 2 players from the B team into the first team, and that's how they should go from this. And Corberán, a Spaniard, surely sees that as a man who's seen how important La Masia has been at Barcelona, how important Castilla has been at Real. I really feel like that would be an excellent future for Olympiacos, playing a lot of the bench, a lot of the players from the bench or the B team in Greece, maybe not on the derbies, and playing your first team in Europe.
Yeah, ideally, when you've got depth in your squad, you should have the luxury to be able to do that, particularly when you're not playing against the other 4 teams that are at the top of the table.
We spoke. I mean, the thing about the depth, though. Do you remember when Martins left and Corberán hadn't even joined yet? I did say in the show that it is a really difficult situation, but this team has so much quality. I can never remember Olympiacos being in such a poor situation with so much quality in the team, because Besnik Hasi didn't have quality. That horrible team in 2018, it was a disaster. The 2010 team, it was a disaster. There is so much quality and there's so much depth. Olympiacos have a lot of depth, and they proved it. If there's one headline for tonight, is squad depth.
Yeah. No, I agree with you, Costa. I mean, we've said that before. It's also about it seems like particularly in midfield, there are just too many players, and now you start to see players like Kane. Okay, Kane is going off to Paphos in Cyprus. Madi Camara, I expect he's going to be gone by the end of the month.
Sure, he's not in the list. He's not in the list. Well, yeah, that basically means
Yeah, they say he picked up an injury. I expect he's going to be gone by the end of the window. I think there are very few people that expect or even want that he stays around, and that's not because we don't appreciate what he's offered to the club. I just think it's best for him and it's best for the club that he leaves. And whether, we should not be asking astronomical amounts for him. If we get 5-6 million, it's profit. We signed him for what? We signed him for what? 450k, peanuts, exactly.
Yeah.
Just sell him with a good fee and a percentage and be done with it. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, when it comes to Madi Camara, it's just it's like a relationship you had with someone that it played its course. You reached your end. It's time to move on now. For everyone involved, really. I mean, it is. If Madi Camara wants to make a big leap to a bigger league, this is the time right now. And like you said it very well. I mean, Olympiacos shouldn't really push the boat. Just make the profit. It's obvious that this player cannot play at Olympiacos anymore. He needs to move on. Olympiacos have to move on. So absolutely. And on that point, I would like to say, do you know how I know Corberán watches Gate 7 International?
Yeah, best.
Because Aguibou Camara played in midfield today and not at number 10.
What can
I'm
I
just
say?
saying. I'm just saying.
What
I
can
don't
I say?
remember.
Maybe the guy had appreciation for the nice question that we asked him in his first press conference.
There you go. There you go. You're welcome, Olympiacos fans.
There you go. Καλησπέρα από την Ερυθρόλευκη Βοστόνη. Καλησπέρα. Good afternoon to Boston, a Davos 7. Να σε καλά, φιλαράκι. Angelos Liapopoulos saying after seeing Rabchuk for so many games, Gudriz was an eye candy today. You know, I think he's still a few clicks behind her in terms of fitness. Because there were a couple of times there were some balls that came in over the top or some nice switches that came diagonally to him, and he just didn't get there in time. But I mean, I liked Gudriz before he got injured for sure, and then he kind of went off to Mallorca. He started really well, and then he had that ACL injury that really kept him back. I would love it. I think a lot of Olympiacos fans would love it if Gudriz could make something of this season. Let's see. Yeah. I have to be honest, Costa. Like, do you think we're actually going to sign a left back? My feeling here is that there's been a lot of talk about Deco, Rabchuk's agent, looking for a move for Rabchuk, and that possibly happening by the end of the window. I don't know if that happens. If it does, we clearly need to sign a left back.
And they will.
But for some reason, I don't see him leaving. I don't know if you have any information.
I don't have any information about a left back, and I was a little surprised about that because Rabchuk played so many games last season. He was obviously tired. He was obviously knackered. But the fact that we saw Gudriz playing today, that shows that, well, he will probably get opportunities this season, at least as a cover-up for Rabchuk. I mean, my dream would be for Gudriz, to regain his 2007-2008 form / 2008-2019 form. Remember, in the latter season, he took Kostas Tsimikas' place. He was the starter still. But yeah, it does look like ideally Corberan and the bigwigs would like it if Rabchuk and Gudriz played the role this season. If Rabchuk leaves Olympiacos, in my opinion, they're definitely going to sign a left back. They're not just going to leave it.
Yeah. Alexandros is saying, can we also talk about Lolis? Giannina being a target for us, wonderful touches. I noticed him a little bit today. Yeah, look, I don't know how old is he, but he looked like a fairly interesting prospect. Is he a young player? I don't know. I'll look him up, but he did look quite interesting. And there are some people saying,
he's 19. He's very young. He's 19. So
okay, if he's 19,
there's the B team. There's the B team.
Oh, hey, Costa, these players need to be playing, man.
They need, but they also need to be developed. They need to develop, though.
Yeah, Dax. I mean, like a kid like this playing in the first division in Super League, then he needs to play Super League. It's not for us to buy him and then send him in the B team to play with Super League 2 teams where they kick each other for half the game. So I don't know.
I think there's development there. Like I think like Zolakis has developed there. It did help Zolakis a lot. I mean, it would have helped him a lot more than just sitting on the bench last season, and this season as well, for that matter.
Look, there are a lot of particulars when it comes to this season, but you look at the B team from last year and you ask the question, all right, what did it do? Like, what benefit did it bring to the first team this season?
I think we're going to see something different. It depends on how Corberan sees it, really, because Martins, I don't think he took it very seriously.
I think if you listen to what like people like Nikopolidis or even I think Zagorakis talked about B team before it became legal, like before this was legally passed as into law, they were saying B teams are a good opportunity for players like Xenitidis. Remember Xenitidis? He was like captain of the youth team forever and ever and ever. He's like 24, 25, I think 23, 24 years old. But like the B team's an opportunity for him to showcase his abilities so that he can go and move to another club, not to play for Olympiacos.
It depends on mentality, and it depends on who the manager is. I feel like it is a great opportunity for youngsters to hone their craft, develop, gain experience. even by selling them, that's still profit, though, even if they never play for Olympiacos. And Olympiacos are that kind of team. They're the kind of team that buy cheap and sell, 5 times their price. Uh, I, I I truly feel like it's a great opportunity, but you need a manager who will have a vision to bring at least 2 players every season, like you so eloquently put together a few weeks ago.
Yeah. No, that's something that I've put repetitively, mate. Or even, I don't know if it's a football manager thing, when you get those objectives from the board and one of them's developing youth. I'm always that guy. I'm like, yep, I'll do that, like, for sure. And I said it on the last pod, and Labro and Stel talked about it. For Greek football, it's super important, man. Like, this is going to happen every year, guys. Like, it's the fate of Greek football right now, given our position in the coefficient, is that we are not a prime destination for foreign talent, quality players. And if you're a serious team, preseason is super important. It's when you put the team together. It's when you gel. It's when the manager pushes his ideas onto the players, when they start to, put those ideas from paper onto the pitch. You can't wait around
as well.
You can't wait until end of August to sign players all the time. We really have to do something about our youth operation and our academies. It's not possible that we have schools, Olympiacos schools all over the world, and we haven't bought one through to the first team. And it is something that's developing over the years. And I know for a fact that there is a lot of work going into this, but that it's not enough. We need to create bridges, like, between B team, youth team, schooling networks in other countries. It's a big operation. You need lots of staff to do that. And this goes back to the whole issue of the technical director, who, by all accounts and reports, should be coming 1st of September or around the beginning of September. This is Julien Fournier, the former OGC Nice technical director the last 10, 11 years. So that's something that he has to work on with the club.
It's so important, the role of the technical director. I was talking to Nikos Dabizas last year, who was a technical director at Panathinaikos and Omonia. I want to say Omonia. It was definitely in Cyprus. And he told me that it is such an important role that you need to have a technical director in first before you bring the manager, because you need a good relationship and a good rapport between the technical director and the manager. So it's going to be very crucial to see how Corberan gets along with the new technical director, whether it's Fournier or, whoever.
Exactly.
Can we address the comment before that? We're not optimistic. We did just mention that this is going to be a season with a lot of ups and downs. We expect it to have a lot of ups and downs. We do not expect a stellar season at all in Greece or in Europe. All I said is that Olympiacos showed a very good reason to still be considered the favorites to win the Greek league. I mean, look at Panathinaikos, PAOK, and Aris. Look at them already in Europe. They're already out. Nothing to show, really. The best excuse belongs to Panathinaikos, because Slavia Prague have been quite have been established as a frequent team in Europe, and we're not seeing anything stellar from them either. So yeah, of course, Olympiacos can still be considered the favorites after that performance, and as well as we see them developing and bringing new players who we haven't seen much yet.
Yeah, indeed. Panos Zapat says, "Hi guys, I do believe that we have at least 3 players in the bag that will come once we secure the Europa League."
Yeah.
I don't know if they're secure, but I think for sure there have been discussions with those types of players.
Yeah.
And there seems to have been like a clear kind of response. I mean, we're speculating now. Players have said, all right, secure Europa League and we'll come. It's different if you're a player like Weizhou Huang, for example, who's never played in Europe before, by the way. He's 29 going on 30. He's never played in Europe, but he wants to go to the World Cup with South Korea.
Mm-hmm.
It's different if he's playing in the Europa League or if he's playing in the Conference League. I'm sorry, it just is.
Yeah.
If playing in the Europa League, you're going to be playing against tougher opposition. in conference are going to be traveling to Kazakhstan and Bosnia or wherever. No disrespect, it's different. Those games are not watched by half the planet's population.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So again, we come back to that point all the time. How big the game on Thursday is.
It's huge, guys, and you definitely, guys, if you can go to the stadium, please do. Please do. This is huge, right there. And Olympiacos needed. And Olympiacos, ever since 1925, when they were created, this is a club that's nothing without its people. I mean, the very basis, the very foundation, the very DNA of this team is its people. Let me tell you this, guys. I've been working in England for 12 years, covering the Premier League for 7 consecutive years. And every time an English team falls with a Greek team, doesn't matter which one it is, doesn't matter if it's Olympiakos, PAOK, Aris, AEK, Panathinaikos. One thing the British sports journalists tell me is about the home field advantage. Everywhere they go, the Greek fans are rowdy, they're intimidating, they're aggressive, they're hostile. That's what they're always talking about. That's why it's important for the Karaiskaki to be sold out. It's important to be it's important to be loud. It's important to rock the stadium. Obviously, nothing violent, nothing over the top. Just bring that DNA. Olympiacos need their people on Thursday.
It's Panos Zapats, and by the way, we have the right man for the job at the bench. He's fired up, unbelievably confident, risk lover, loves to push for football and not running down the clock. Yeah, and there's another similar comment as well. He didn't sit on the bench for more than 5 minutes. I think he sat on the bench after the second goal probably just for his pulse to calm down a little bit, I think. But yeah, I like to see that as well, man. I like to see a manager that's animated, or that's constantly like on his feet, giving orders to players and telling the players what to do. I like to see that.
Exactly, and we didn't touch on that after that Slovan game, the second leg. After the game, Corberan went towards the traveling fans to salute them, to applaud them.
Yep.
Like, he is truly looking to make a difference. This is a guy that wants to work at Olympiacos and wants to succeed and wants to come together with the club. He wants to be part of that fan base. He wants to have a bridge with the fans. He wants the fans on the stadium. He wants their support.
Yeah. And this topic just doesn't keep going away, does it? And it won't until it's resolved. Guys, this one. Guys, do you know what's going on with Fortounis? Was there talks with Corberan about a comeback? Don't know if there were direct talks with Corberan. What we know is that Olympiacos wants to get rid of Fortounis. He's on a big contract as well, 1.7 million a year, last contract year. There were some rumors in the Cypriot press about Aboel. That's not happening. Costa wants to stay in Greece, is my feeling. And I think that's one of the reasons why this is so difficult as well, because Olympiacos surely don't want to let him go to a rival team. And I can't really see Costas playing for a team like Atromitos or Giannina, again, with all due respect. I don't really see that happening. I'm curious to see how this ends with Costa. I frankly won't be surprised if he sits on his contract for a year.
And we mentioned
it's a horrible situation.
It is a horrible situation because that's not the ending he deserved. I mean, we talked about how Corberan brought Vrusai, he brought Koutris, he brought Koundé into the team. So, I mean, if he wanted Fortounis, he would have done the same thing. I mean, he wouldn't just keep him on the bench because the previous manager did that, or even because the club wants to get rid of him. I feel like Corberan is getting he's getting freedoms, he's getting trust, he's going to get his time. I hope he gets his time. So, yeah, if he wanted Fortounis, he would just bring him into the squad, I reckon. So, yeah, I think he's going, basically, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. It's an interesting comment. Sila, if you could merge Oleg's defense with Koutris' offense, you'd get a half-decent left-back. Separately, they're both below average for different reasons. I think I know what you mean. Yeah, you would definitely like, for example, that Oleg had Koutris' crossing ability from deep. Because when Oleg gets into good positions on the byline, his delivery's not half as bad as we think. But when he's deep outside the box, not near the box on the byline, he can't whip them in like Kutriskan from a static position.
May I direct a comment from Maris Galamatis? It's back to the B team. Who was the last player that Barcelona Academy produced for top level? Barcelona are constantly working on players to reach the senior squad, and I'm going to tell you one name: Ansu Fati, with a release clause of £1 billion, €1 billion. There's a player for you, and that's very recent. He is a player for the future. He is a very, very talented player. Barcelona have a lot of faith in him, and well, 1 billion. I mean, not everyone gets €1 billion release clause. The other one is Pedri, who came from Las Palmas, though, if I'm not mistaken, and he also has £1 billion release clause.
But there's Gavi too as well.
There's Gavi as well. Yeah, Barcelona are constantly doing that, much more than Real.
Your view on the team's fitness is Southpaw. The whole team looks totally unfit. It actually looked better today. It actually looks a bit better today.
They need longevity, man, and I'm not sure about that. They're going to need to keep some level of fitness, and it's going to be a long-ass season because there's going to be Europe as well.
That's it. That brings it back to the squad and the constant games, Sunday, Thursday, every week, and there's international games as well. So that's very important, and it's important that we saw Corberán is already employing that, that method, that tactic in terms of rotating the squad early and keeping the players fresh. I think that's super important. But today, it looked better than in other games, albeit again it was a Greek league game, and but don't take it for granted though, guys, because if you look back at the games that we were playing in the playoffs last season, it's not like we were dominating those games in terms of possession. We had teams like Giannina or whoever it was really just doing whatever the hell they wanted with us. We were getting dominated possession-wise, and we were sitting behind the halfway line. It was very, very strange. Or at least we said it before. What we were seeing, particularly at the end of last season, was not Olympiacos. It's not Olympiacos under Pedro Martin.
I really hope Olympiacos took an important lesson after this summer. The important lesson being, don't give in too much to nostalgia like PAOK have. I mean, PAOK, for years, they've been insisting on Vieirinha, Crespo, Varela, El Kaduri, Bisesvar, and many, many more. And there was Olympiacos with Pedro Martins, Avram Papadopoulos, El Arabi. They need to stop giving in to nostalgia that much. When the time comes, you gotta let the player/manager go.
And Labros Sirmos is with us. Says, I sweated through all my clothes tonight, for fuck's sake. My souvlaki hasn't been delivered yet. I assume you sweated because it's 40 degrees there, mate. Not so.
Well, I mean, you do know Labros. I mean, it did take a while till that goal went in, though. So I could imagine Labro, being a little stressful.
What was it, around the 60th minute that we scored?
Yeah, but I mean,
okay, it was.
They were still looking for that first victory, though. That was
because
that was Corberán's first victory.
The little bit of fear that you had, like in the back of your mind, was that, oh god, it's going to be one of those days again. And we had 3 chances in the first 7 minutes, and it didn't go in. It's going to be one of those. And then there was that moment in the first half, Manolas put the ball in his own net, but it was called offside. You had those little kind of instances where you thought, oh, here we go again. But no, like, okay, 2-0 is a clear score. And clean sheet, guys. When's the last time we had a clean sheet?
I think you can say the F word, can't you?
I don't want it all the time because advertisers and whatnot. But anyway.
Yeah, true. You're right. Oops.
Anyway.
We're learning, guys. We're learning. We're adapting.
After the Aris game, I thought Avila was gone, was going to be garbage. Turns out he's pretty good. Yeah. He's not.
I rate him.
Has a good game, good game, average game, bad game, good game. That's Avila right now. There's no stability.
No consistency, but it makes sense because it's still so early days, and Olympiacos are already in the deep end because of the qualifiers, and he just joined. But he's going to have a lot of competition from Vrsaljko, who's coming in with the squad next week. Hopefully, he's not going to have too many injuries. Hopefully, he's not going to have any injuries, actually. It's just that in the past, he's had quite a few. So I feel like he is going to push him, and we've already seen some good moments from Avila. It's still early doors, guys. It's still early doors.
Πέστα ρε Southpaw, πέστα το μαλάκα τον άλλον. Θέλει να παραγγείλει και σουβλάκι. Φύγε να φάει ένα βρώμικο έξω από το γήπεδο μου.
Όχι, πού πάει να φάει το σουβλάκι? Have they gone to σουβλατζίδικο?
Yeah, so Labrador's got a boat to catch early in the morning, so he ordered souvlaki back
He's
home.
going to Egina. Do we have any fans from Egina that want to meet star host Labros Sirmos?
It's
comment section.
Don't worry, guys. Labros isn't going to be gone for long. Thursday night, he's going to be back.
I'm expecting him to lead the chants.
It's what else?
For Lazar Adzelovic.
You're really ripping into Martins, but in many ways, he is an Olympiacos legend. Absolutely.
Yes, he is.
We're not disputing that.
We're not ripping into him. We're just saying it as it is. Like the guy's time at Olympiacos came to an end. It was so I've said it before in this show, Dimitri. Pedro Martins' last 2 years at Olympiacos reminded me a lot of Arsene Wenger's last few years at Arsenal. Incredible manager, incredible success that will never be taken away from him no matter what, but he had reached the end of his rope. And Olympiacos owed it to end this as better as possible for everyone involved. It's one way to have a manager like Pedro Martins, a successful Olympiacos legend, leaving with a trophy in his hands than leaving after Olympiakos' most humiliating loss in Europe since 2003, when they lost 7-0 to Juventus in Turin. He's not a failure. It's just that Olympiakos, I hope Olympiakos learn not to give in too much to nostalgia and knowing when to pull the trigger. That's all. That's all I'm saying.
Mike Scobb, if they don't support the new coach who transfers, all the rumors about parking Olympiacos will have some merit. We definitely need players in 6, 8, 10. Okay, yeah. We need yeah, everyone wants signings. Everyone wants signings, my friends. Can we talk about how Manolas almost cried when he was subbed off, or was it only me? Is he leaving? I didn't notice that, mate, to be honest. I didn't see that, to be honest. Why doesn't Fadiga get a chance? I think Fadiga's still training with the first team. There was some rumor about him. I think there was some rumor about him going out on loan, but we'll have to see. I mean, we didn't see him on the subs bench today. Yorgos Kalgas says, I really want to see Zoulakis given a go. Probably not this season, but when Vachlik goes, I don't want to see us buying a new goalkeeper when we have a talent like Zoulakis.
We agree. We've said it many times in the show. When Vachlik leaves, Zoulakis needs to replace him.
Yeah.
Yashua Alexander. Hello, Alexander.
From Portland, Maine. Big up Portland, Alexander.
Represent.
What else have we got? Let's go through some more comments, Costa. Silas says, μου φαίνεται με αυτά που βλέπουμε φέτος θα κάνουμε υποδοχή αεροδρομίου στο Φουρνιέ 10.000 άτομα. Εντάξει, χαλάρωση.
I don't think so. Plus, it's still August. People are still in the islands, having a good time. If there's half than that, if there was even half than that, which there wouldn't, I'd be very surprised.
Mike, we do have some really good data, guys.
Yeah, we do. We have really good data guys in the club.
We do. We have one in particular that I know of who's probably close to world class, if not world class. No. There is a really good one that we have in our team. So we need more. We need more of that, but more importantly, we need somebody to come in and organize from a technocratic perspective everything that's going on behind the scenes, in the back room, and in HQ. That's what the technical director is going to come in and do. Because you can have these kinds of like top-class, top-notch data analytics people, but if you're then not organized and working in a team with a purpose, with clear objectives, it's just a scattergun. If it's not targeted, it's not as effective. Okay. Olympiacos should inquire about Pavlidis, says Ben Agilidis. That's going to be pretty expensive, man.
It will be pretty expensive.
I read that Tassos Douvikas' asking price is 10 million euros, by the way, from Utrecht.
And would they want to go back to Greece, Douvikas and Pavlidis?
For Olympiacos, maybe.
Yeah, but still, I mean, they're pretty successful over there in the Netherlands.
Yeah. George Candilis, welcome back, George. I'll always love Martins, but Corporán is showing great signs. What I love today is that we made the substitutions at the right time, and more importantly, was the right one. Yes,
absolutely,
exactly
George.
what I was thinking as well today when he made those subs around the 50th minute, bringing on Mvila, El Arabi in particular. Absolutely, I had the same thinking myself. As well. I thought maybe take Valbuena off and have him a bit more fresh for Thursday. What else do we got? Lolis and Tassos Donis. I have no idea what's happening with Tassos Donis. He is out of favor at Rem in France.
I don't think Donis is the guy Olympiacos would like to go for in terms of strikers and wingers. I don't think Donis is your guy. He's been quite inconsistent. He hasn't played a lot of games last time I checked. I don't think he's the guy Olympiacos want to go for.
Christo, we talked about Fortounis tonight and on multiple other episodes.
Yeah,
there's no way back.
Watch the episode again after the live ends. Yeah, so basically the headline is he's going.
Is beyond repair. Things have happened. Too many things have happened. He's made mistakes. The former manager made mistakes. There's plenty of blame to go around. With Fortounis, it's over. I can't see it turning around, unfortunately. And that's stuff that's happened off the pitch. And then there's on the pitch with his injuries. I just can't see it. It's come full circle, guys. It's 7. He gave 7-8 seasons with Olympiacos. All good things come to an end.
I mean, I kind of feel like, in a way, I feel like Kostas Fortounis might have, been like Grigoris Georgatos in the sense that he could have gone abroad and have a magnificent career. I'm not sure how much he wanted that, though.
Didn't want it.
I mean, guys, Pep effing Guardiola came out on a press conference to praise a player that didn't even play. He went out in a press conference to praise Kostas Fortounis, Pep Guardiola. That's how good he was. That's how good he could have been. Pep doesn't do that. He doesn't go out for random players to praise them on record. And he praised them. And he even spoke to him in the return fixture at the Karaiskaki. He rated him. Pep Guardiola rated him. And it just didn't happen.
This is a good comment. Μάτς χωρίς γιο μας 90 λεπτά. Πάντως έχουμε να δούμε 2 χρόνια. Bring 4 or 5 good players for Corberán so we can see some good football. That's true. I mean, there were like a fair few crosses into the box, but it wasn't that kind of hoof from the back. And then, it was patient build up. You still see in some instances, because it's early days in the Corberán era, some situations where the ball gets stuck at a player's feet too long, kind of turns to the left is not really happening, turns right. And you want the ball to kind of come to the player, control, pass, move all the time. Like no more than 3 touches, like 2 touches max, control, pass, move all the time. I think that's what he wants to do. That's what Corberán wants to do with the team. That's the style of play that he wants to see. Coach Zach says the speed of play under Martins was like playing in the old timers league here in the US.
Does he mean the MLS? Does he mean the MLS?
I think he means veterans league in the US. What can I say?
Ooh, heavy.
Some questions about Androuchos. Androuchos plays as a right back today, Mano. I also was wondering whether or not
he means that he's a midfielder, basically. Yeah, Androuchos is basically a midfielder who was dropped into right back to offer solutions under Martins.
Yeah, I think I was curious whether Corberan might put him back in his regular position, but I don't see that happening. Diamandopoulos in Sports 24's game night has kind of implied Fortounis might come back.
Why would Corberan keep him out of the squad, though? I mean, he brought Furusai, he brought Koutris, he brought Kounde. Why would he? If he wanted him, what would stop him from bringing him back into the squad? We haven't watched game night, by the way, not yet.
No. But hang on, is this game night tonight, or was it an old one? Θοδωρή, άμα ακούς, γράψε ένα μήνυμα. Τι ήταν, απόψε τα είπε αυτά Διαμαντόπουλος, είναι παλιά. Γράψε παρακαλώ. What else have we got? Manos Gate 7, AK-47 said to have done or said something wrong, and that's why he is out. I don't know. Δεν έχω ακούσει κάτι, man.
I heard that it's a fitness issue, is what I know.
But apparently he's been injured since second leg tie against Maccabi.
Yeah.
Yes, tonight. Says Thrylos. Κοίτα, ο Pantelis is obviously good friends with Fortounis. I'll listen to that with interest, because that's what we were just saying a little bit earlier. Is okay? This is all hypothetical, yeah. Fortounis, where's he going to go? Where's he going to go? He wants to stay in Greece. He just had a kid. His wife is a teacher. They don't want to go to Turkey. Don't want to go to Cyprus. He wants to stay in Greece. They're not going to sell him to Panathinaikos. They're not going to sell him to AEK. They're not going to sell him to PAOK. He's not going to go and play for Giannina. What's going to happen? He's either going to sit on his contract. They're going to find a way to make him useful. I don't know. Can it turn around? Until now, I've seen nothing that suggests it can. Maybe Pantelis knows something more. I'll listen with great curiosity to what Pantelis said tonight, because I haven't heard that. Panos, do you guys believe Fournier is already unofficially working with us? I think conversations have been had.
He means actually like working, like looking for players and doing contracts and stuff like that. I think is what he means. I don't think so. I mean, there's nothing to imply that, as far as I know.
Yeah. I mean, we've definitely been looking at some players from the French market, whether it was Alvaro Gonzalez from Marseille, whether it's, again, De La Fuente, Marseille, Bordeaux, Huizhou Huang. So these are all players coming from the French market. Again, speculating if he's been the one suggesting these players. Fortounis can go to Aris and win the championship. All right. It's late. Costa.
Gotta go to bed, guys.
Yeah.
Gotta go to bed.
Before we do that, just to make it fun, starting lineup for Thursday after seeing what we've seen today. And I'm sure we will do preview, guys. So again, make sure you help us to keep growing the community, find more Olympiacos fans, bring us all together, subscribe so that you don't miss match preview for Thursday's big game. Don't miss vlog footage, match day vlog from today's game. Olympiakos pas Giannina, Ari, Labro, Marshall, all in the house. Special guest Costa as well. The drinks the night before. Don't miss that, guys. I don't know. Should we save? Should we save ideas?
It was a top night.
Should we save ideas for the lineup for the preview?
Well, I don't know when I'm going to be on the preview, so I'm just going to go now. Vatslik in goal, Avila right back, Reabchuk on the left, Kostas Manolas, Papeabousis center back, Huang, Mvila, Agibu in midfield, and up front, Radzelovic, Conrad, El Arabi. 4-3-3.
So no Bar, no Kunde, no Zinkanagu, no Masouras. Έχουμε πολλά να συζητήσουμε. Got lots to discuss in the preview, guys.
I'm just
next
saying.
time.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
But there you go. The conversation started. Guys, leave in the comments. What do you think ahead of the next game? Whatever happens, we'll be back before Thursday for match preview. We're Gate 7 International, by the fans, for the fans. Thank you for joining. See you next time.
Take care, guys. See ya.